We're going to watch a video now, and we'll be back in a little while to comment on it. Please play it.
What we have to do, in my opinion, is to restore deeply masculine traits as a force in our society. Are you a chauvinist? I want to be. I am. I am. So call me, I am. And so, some things have to be, you have to call things what they are.
This video, candidate, is from April 25th of last year, on an internet show that you had. You are there with some colleagues.
That's an Alfa Romeo, okay? Before you start making other assumptions that
I would like to ask you to clarify this statement, because when I look at it, it gives me the impression that you seem somewhat proud to be a sexist. What kind of example do you think this sets?
I honestly, I'm worried about that.
But you are a leader, a political group. You have followers. Followers, you say? I just think you have to call things what they are. What they are.
Let me make this very clear. People understood my message.
Ladies, what did they get from this message?
Responding to the message that a male presence, the good father, the good uncle, the involved man, the good grandfather, this has to be re-established. Instead of us discussing how to re-establish authority, positive male authority.
Candidate, when you say you're sexist, the message that comes across is that it's a violent discourse against women.
Well, if you ever find me saying anything violent against women in this context, women, you let me know.
I am sexist. You have to call things what they are.
If you took it as provocation, so be it. Sorry if I gave that impression. That's what I've been talking about the whole time, even in this interview.
Do you think women understood that that's a compliment?
I know, Zadinho. I'm unsure what I understand. The message I want to address as a program is different. I'm not going to dwell on whether I got hurt or gave impression A, B, or C. I'm not the best person in the world to do my own marketing, but the idea I'm defending here is right, and that's what matters.
Do you consider yourself sexist?
No, that's just provoking. You need to know when to do it.
We just showed it.
You were quite
comfortable, you were quite at ease. It's rare for you to actually disagree. I saw everything, everyone saw everything. I just wanted to conclude because it connects with what you were saying. You also said, and this is a quote from you, okay, candidate? The absence of a male presence is one of the main factors in young people committing crimes. They don't have an example, they don't have boundaries, they don't have structure. We're talking about a country where half of Brazilian households are headed by women. And that doesn't mean there isn't a male figure in those homes, okay? That's different. It's different from a single mother household. Are you blaming women for crime? Criminality, is that it? No.
No, I wanted to understand. The man is to blame and it's related. No.
It's because when there's no man, the home becomes unstable and then the woman will raise the criminals.
And that's why families with both parents are more functional. In Brazil, single-parent families where fathers don't pay child support or are absent often raise troubled boys. The lack of a father figure isn't unique to Brazil. Studies in the United States, as Thomas Sowell notes, show that lacking a male figure leads to undisciplined boys with worse school performance and higher crime rates, impacting society overall.
But it's because with this impression, there's a candidate that the woman doesn't know.
Let me just finish. Here you will finish. So,
I'll let you finish. The impression that you don't appreciate what women do in the education of their children. Why am I telling you this? That sounds like only the man if there's no man. And I'm not saying here that families, that children don't need fathers, everyone needs them. Emotional responsibility, financial responsibility. My point is, when you say that, it automatically gives the impression that homes without a male figure are homes with troubled children. That's not true.
Let's go. Most cases of young men who commit crimes come from families where the father is not present, period. That's statistical, that's a fact. These young men also have lower academic performance, period. Single-parent families have lower income, period. That's just reality. If someone thinks my opinion is going to hurt or not, well, that's just how it is. Maybe I'm not the best communicator in the world, but what I'm saying is the truth. And I want to tell the truth because I have to solve real problems. I don't want to give one impression or another when I say this.
That's the point, candidate. Yeah, I didn't say you don't care about the issue. I said that when I read your policy platform, I didn't see
perfect, Natuza, but I also talk a bit about sewage and water.
Men. Okay, I want to talk about men too. Data from the Superior Electoral Court itself from this July in 2026 shows that Missão had more than 90% male members and less than 10% female members. Women make up most of the electorate. What part of your message isn't reaching the female electorate? Why isn't it reaching them according to this data from the TSC? Candidate, I want to talk about destabilization, which is a point you emphasize a lot in your government proposal. Your plan, correct me if I'm wrong, promises to turn 12,000 favelas in Brazil into neighborhoods in 10 years. These are territories where more than 16 million people live.
Here's the thing, folks.
People. The 2022 census, it could even be a higher number. How are you going to do that, sir? Because to create a policy for turning favelas into formal neighborhoods, you will have to move people out of these houses in order to provide sanitation, to be able to provide housing. Do they actually return home? Where are you going to put these people while you are redeveloping those communities across the country?
First, what is a favela redevelopment policy? First, it's important to recognize that living in a favela is undignified, with residents lacking rights and facing higher rates of tuberculosis and teenage pregnancy. The endemic presence of organized crime. The urban anomaly called a favela needs to be confronted, addressed, and resolved. That's the first point. Second point, serious countries don't have favelas. Serious countries address the problem of favelas. I can take examples from China to Singapore. I can mention Colombia, Argentina. Experiences from former third world countries. Even India is implementing strong slum redevelopment policies. Everyone is working on this. Culturally, Brazil chose to embrace the favela as part of its identity and culture. I don't think this should be accepted, and the challenge is urban, structural, and also cultural. So, let's go. Remove organized crime. Second, evaluate the nature of that favela and those small informal properties for now. In the Yellow Book, we talk about 4 models. Places with economic interest, for example, go ahead. Vidigal, here in Rio de Janeiro, but which are hillsides. Places that have economic interest and are flat, like Maré. Then, places without economic interest that are, let's say, hilly or rugged. And without economic interest and flat. Flat, that is, a plain. Each will have a different favela redevelopment policy.
So, if there's economic interest, residents are removed to make way for developments?
Is that it? No, quite the opposite. You can make use of adjacent areas or bring companies to the region, bring jobs to the region, but if you are going to do a reverse auction, you have more possibilities in the reverse auction to attract private investment. If the area lacks economic interest, most investment will be public. The economic interest issue allows you to link economic participation to it. So, for example, in a remote region with low economic interest and flatter terrain, what's the main issue there? In many places, these houses are already made of masonry, so you have to adapt the construction to our legislation, like what happened in Argentina. Granting this person the property title, their main issue is connecting them through urban infrastructure, like access roads. Transforming slums largely means making that area a neighborhood. Planting trees, bringing in urban infrastructure, and connecting these people more efficiently to the subway or to better access roads.
If it goes up in value, will there be removals?
Is this OI?
We want to know, we want to understand, we
Stipulation,
want to
for example.
understand how it's going to be. About
How can I
speculation.
remove someone just for
what we're-
freezing the tool?
the detail.
That's not in the program. That's grossly inhumane.
What are you going to do?
Why would the person get title to their property?
No, because I didn't understand.
Property title. It's about a house being renovated in a neighborhood that's being addressed, Adi. Why would I remove it? I don't understand. Why remove this person?
No, we're asking if this isn't removal under another name. Because your government program has a very long chapter about this.
I think this is the biggest social problem in Brazil.
So I think it's fair for those who are watching to know what the candidate has to say about this.
Central to this diagnosis is that the favela is a cross-cutting problem. It brings together countless other problems within it. Problems with sanitation, access to water, issues ranging from tuberculosis to poor school performance. Addressing the favela means tackling multiple problems at the same time. It's a form of urban blight. It's the wound that shapes the urban landscape. Solving it means tackling many problems at once. That's why we have a huge chapter dedicated to this. It involves everything from the self-esteem of the people who live there to the very idea of a serious city in the 21st century.
21st, there's a section here that I wanted you to explain where you talk about demolition within 48 hours.
Yes, but that's very clear. If you set up a shantytown now, if you carry out an illegal occupation, we won't allow that occupation to take hold. Housing movements or speculation movements, blood-boiling turning point. If in 48 hours you're going to build a house, right? Let's say a person tries to set up a shack, you just have to enforce the law, which is to prevent that shack from being built. Otherwise, you don't have property rights in Brazil. You're not a serious country. A serious country. This is a basic rule. We will have to use methods that include satellites, georeferencing to prevent new invasions. There is a land-grabbing industry that happens in urban areas and also in rural areas. The same logic applies to prevent, for example, land grabbers from occupying protected areas or water source areas. In São Paulo, entire municipal areas were invaded. They were invaded to build favelas, then the PCC took control. Sometimes the PCC organizes these invasions.